Hello, welcome back to my channel. Today I wanted to make this video because I had a realization yesterday actually. I don't know, I think recently I've just been reminded of the value of living according to your values. Excuse my cat, you may hear him asking for his lunch. So I think there was a time around 2015 when I felt very bleak and depressed and just kind of apathetic by default, because the alternative for me was to feel so much that I wasn't capable of handling the kind of pain that I was actually feeling. And I think, I think a lot of people can probably relate to just this feeling of like hopelessness that comes from living in these times where, there's just a lot of intensity, there's a lot of suffering, there's a lot of awareness around the impact that we have as human beings and the way in which we live. And I think it can be very difficult to face. And I think I just needed a bit of a reminder, because in a way I had kind of been looking past these things as a type of coping mechanism. The global crisis that we're in, that we always seem to be in. Anyway, I think, where am I going with this? I think as humans living in this modern age of hyper-consumerism, it's very, very, very important to be a conscious consumer and to be incredibly aware of where we accept responsibility, where we're able to, for our decisions, and being kind to ourselves when the system is the thing that's wrong and not each of us individually. It's tough. It's really tough, How do you navigate these situations, these contexts where you just feel completely powerless? So from my part, there is some wild animal thing happening here. There's a pigeon trying to come to the bird feeder behind me, and the cat's yelling at him. I'm gonna keep this in because you can see the pigeon just landed behind me. Because this is delightful, and I think part of what I want to get at is that it's very important for us to be the change that we want to see. So we're not responsible for changing the whole wide world, but we are responsible for our own actions. And I think we can each commit to doing what we can in a way that feels aligned with ourselves deeply, with what we care about and with what matters most to us. And I don't know, I just feel like I still struggle with this this deep indoctrination of a capitalist society that tells you that in order to be successful and worthy, you need to just have more stuff. You need to just desire more and more and more and more. But when is that enough? And what is the purpose of all this stuff that you're accruing? So yeah, I think just recently I needed a bit of a reminder about why, what really matters, what it's all about, and I think at the end of the day, we are humans living on this beautiful planet that is incredibly resilient but fragile at the same time, much as we are ourselves. And I think it's important for us to respect our own boundaries, to respect the Earth's boundaries, to respect each other's boundaries without judging each other for, not being perfect or not being the way we expect others to be. Because it's not fair. It's just not fair. And, I know that life isn't fair, but if you hope to change, feeling judged doesn't help. It really just doesn't help, because you just end up feeling worthless and like you're never good enough and like nothing matters, because everything is just met with judgment and criticism of why haven't you met this impossible perfect standard that literally nobody is able to achieve. So yeah, I am here to say that I am recommitting to my values, to being a conscious consumer, to not just desiring more stuff, to being able to appreciate something without needing to possess it, to only taking what I need, to be willing to spend more for something that is better, that is more ethical, that is sustainable, that is good for the earth, that is not based on exploitation and the need, or it's not a need, it's the desire for endless profit. Endless profit for what? For endless destruction. It's hard for me not to feel disgusted, but I think it's also important to not hate the human race and to not hate our presence here on the earth, but to instead recognize that we have work to do, that we're all valuable, that we all matter, and that one person mattering doesn't take away from anybody else mattering. It's not an either or. Yeah, I don't know. I think I just want to put this out there in case anybody else needs to hear it, because it's easy to just bury your head in the sand and act like it's out of your hands completely. But I think what it's really about is each of us committing to doing what we can to help the world as it is in this moment, to help in whatever way we can, and to not judge others for how they choose to serve or for where they are in their journey of, finding their path and maybe seeing things from a perspective that they hadn't considered before. Yeah, okay. Anyway, I think I'm gonna end it there. Let me know what you think, if you're in a similar space, if you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed by the state of things and like you just you want to have some measure of impact. And I'm sorry, my cat is delighting me. He's rolling around here, still meowing at me. Okay, yeah, I think that's it for me. Okay, let me know how you will choose to engage with the world. If you have something that you feel strongly about, what can you do to make a difference, however small it is. Okay, thanks guys. Bye.